we're gonna go fast. I'm Mike.
I'm Joe.
And this is Kart Life TV. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Kart Life TV, where we do fun and dumb stuff with golf carts. And today we're doing something dumb. It might be dumb. It might be dumb. I hope it's fun, but we're gonna see. Because today we're pulling the motor out of this Club Car Tempo here. This is the Subaru EX40 motor. It's coming out, and we're disassembling the rear end, and we're doing high-speed gears today. I'm excited. How about you?
I'm really excited. Can't wait.
So the gears came in. This is what they look like. There's two of them. And this is what you need to make your golf cart go faster than, what, 27 miles an hour?
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now, 27 miles an hour. So we're gonna put these in. I wanna give a shout out to our buddy, Rick Lanier. He came by last week when we were filming the episode you just watched with the Madjax brush guard and the Jake's disc brake kit. He stopped by the house and he helped us and gave us some pointers. He even let us borrow one of his pullers. So shout out to Rick Lanier. Thanks for coming by. It was great to meet you, and I hope you enjoy your Kart Life stuff.
Definitely nice to meet you.
I think we should get started because this is apparently, according to Rick, a 6-hour job.
6 to 8 hours, he said. But
I
that's
don't
just,
know.
he does it himself. We got 2, 1.5 anyway. I could be
Maybe 3. I don't know.
Hey.
All right, we're gonna get started. Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so Joe's getting the mat set up behind the golf cart here. What we're gonna start with is kind of disconnecting everything that's attached to the motor back here. We're gonna remove the fuel cell, this bracket here that has the carbon filter attached to it, and then the battery. Then what we're gonna do is disconnect the linkage cables and all the power and wiring harnesses that go to the motor and the fuel tank and everything up here. Once that is done, then we're gonna start removing the transaxle and the motor assembly from the golf cart through the rear.
First, we're gonna drain the oil.
Yeah, first things first, we gotta drain the oil.
Let that drain while we tear apart the front.
All right, so Joe's gonna start by draining the gear oil out of this rear differential. There's 2 bolts that you need to pull out as plugs. They are 14mm bolts, and you're gonna let the oil drain into a catch pan. All right, the oil's draining, and it's gonna take a little while because it's some really thick stuff. So we're gonna start on the front and remove the fuel cell, the battery, and the bracket that holds the carbon filter in place. Now that the battery is out, we're gonna remove the center brace along with the carbon filter. Undo the 2 star head screws that hold the bracket down, and undo the 2 clamps that hold the hoses to the carbon filter, and then remove the bracket. The last thing we're gonna do in the front underneath the seat is remove the fuel tank. 2 more star bits. Then you wanna disconnect the fuel sender, the fuel line, and then remove the tank. All right, so far so good. We got the battery out, we got the fuel tank out, and we got the bracket that holds the carbon filter. Joe did a great job. Next thing we're gonna do is disconnect the electrical harnesses, the linkage, and the air tube that goes to the motor. Then we're gonna unbolt the motor. You ready?
I'm ready.
You're doing pretty good, dude.
It's going pretty good so far.
Kind of like we know what we're doing. So I'm actually kind of excited that we got this far and we took all this out of the motor compartment. Joe's working on the air hose now, but look at this. There's an extra solenoid in here. Obviously somewhere along the line, someone working on this cart needed to change the solenoid, but they left the original one in the cart. So we're gonna remove that. There's also a lot of funk and grime and golf course, we'll call it golf course matter.
Yeah.
Golf course matter in here, so we're gonna clean that up as well. once we get the motor out. So next it's the air tube. It's just a big hose clamp. You pull that back and then you kind of break the seal and it pulls away from the motor. All right, now that the air tube is taken out, we're going to unclip the electrical harness that goes to the ECU. That way we don't have to remove so much from the motor. It'll make putting it back together much easier. All right, so we're basically done underneath the seat area of the golf cart. Now we're going to move to the back and we're going to remove the electrical connections that go to the starter generator. There are 3 that bolt to the starter generator and then 1 quick disconnect. It's a yellow wire. You're going to disconnect that and then we're going to move on to the linkages. Just started.
I know, and I didn't get oil on my ends, and it went right in where the oil was.
Was that a 10mm socket?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like one
All right, the starter generator is disconnected from the golf cart. Next thing we're gonna do is the 2 linkage cables, and I think we're home free as far as disconnecting the motor from the golf cart. What do you think? I think we're there, right? Yeah. All right, so the linkage cable, we're gonna do it as easy as possible. We are going to just kind of loosen them and unclip them, and then undo the zip ties that hold them to the sides of the motor. And then there is one more electric harness underneath the shifter cable that we're gonna have to undo. Joe is marking the linkages so we know exactly where to tighten them to when we go to reassemble it.
Yeah, why is that be so long?
All right, so we're doing awesome. I don't know, what time is it?
It took about
20 minutes. 20 minutes. We're 20 minutes in, and we already got the motor completely disconnected on the top half. We're gonna go underneath the cart now. We have to disconnect the brake cables and the shackles, and I think then we'll be able to slide the motor out from under the cart, right?
Yeah,
It'll be completely free.
yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get this oil pan. It looks like it stopped dripping too. So about 20 minutes for the oil to drain, 20 minutes to disconnect everything and remove everything from underneath the seat. And now we're ready to get underneath and really get this motor out.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right, so we got the motor completely disconnected from the golf cart. The only thing holding it in is its own weight. What we're gonna do now is attempt to slide it back. So what we're gonna have to do is lift the frame of the golf cart up a little bit and then slide the motor back. I think maybe if we get the frame lifted enough, Joe, we can kind of use it like a wheelbarrow and move it back, the two of us under our weight. We do have the dolly over here too. We could put underneath the cradle.
Yeah.
Right? So we're gonna attempt this now. Wish us luck.
You'll see if something bad happens.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
How cool is that?
That is.
I feel so accomplished right now.
That was way easier than what I thought it was going to be honest with you.
Famous last words.
Well, this part, I didn't say everything.
All right, let's get this down on the jack stands, and we'll keep going. All right, guys, check this out. We actually have the motor completely out of the golf cart and the transaxle here. This is a first for us at Kart Life TV. Pretty exciting. What we're going to do now is remove the driven clutch. That's the clutch in the back here. We're going to impact it off. I think it's on a keyway. It should slide right off, hopefully. And then 8 bolts separates the motor from the transaxle. So that's what we're going to do now.
Holy moly.
And we got it.
That was one. It was a mother.
All right, so we got the transaxle free from the motor. There are 8 hardened bolts. They look like this that hold the motor to the transaxle. It is a lot easier if you want to take the time to remove the exhaust.
Yeah,
it'll definitely save some time because the last 2 bolts behind the exhaust right here are probably the most difficult of this whole job. It took us like probably 10 minutes to get those 2 out. Other than that, everything else is pretty simple. I think we're ready to roll the transaxle back away from the motor.
Yeah,
all right, definitely. Hang on, we'll do it. All right, guys, the transaxle completely separated from the motor. Got the motor back here, transaxle right here with the wheels on it still. Our buddy Rick told us about this one bolt that is part of the shifter linkage for the forward and reverse. It's there somewhere. Where
this
is it?
bolt right here.
I'll show you that in a second. It's this bolt right over here. We're gonna remove that one. It has some kind of ball and a magnet. He says that's the first one you gotta remove. We're gonna take the driver's side wheel off. Then we're gonna stand it up and remove the actual half shaft and then split the case open.
Can't wait.
This is gonna be awesome. All right, you ready? All right, let's go.
That's it.
We got audience today. My brother-in-law.
I didn't sign off for this.
I think so. Spline in there.
Yep. Get out the way.
It's awesome.
Ouch. Good, right?
All right, now that the half shaft is off, we're going to split the rear differential open and expose the gears. It's held on by a bunch of bolts. They're through bolts, so there's a nut on one side and a bolt head on the other. You're gonna need a wrench to hold it and back them off one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's about, it looks like there's 10 of them. All right, Joe. So we got the half shaft off, and we took all the bolts that secure the 2 sides of the rear end together out, and now it's time to split it open. And we're gonna have a little discussion on how to attack this before we do it because we don't want to destroy anything.
Beat it with a hammer.
But yeah, that would probably work. Drop it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and remove this. Take this top part of the shell off and expose the gears. So let's try and tackle that now.
Yeah.
We're making good time. What are we, an hour and a half in?
It's that. Yeah, hour and a half.
Hour and a half in, and we're ready to disassemble this now. All right,
Let's do it.
let's figure it out. All right, this is really awesome. And looking in the rear end now that it's open, it's super clean, Joe. There's no metal shavings. There's no dirt. There's nothing. This is actually
The oil was clean too.
Yeah, the oil coming out was clean, which is surprising because the oil that came out of the motor was disgusting. We did find the little ball Joe has it. Let me see that thing. Show this to you. So there's a little ball bearing. Looks like this right here. You gotta be super careful when you open this thing up.
Take that out first.
If you cannot get this ball out of underneath the spring in that little hole on the side, make sure you're super careful when you separate this because it is gonna fall out.
And if it falls in there and you don't know it and you put it back together, you're gonna have some problems.
Right. You're not gonna be able to go forward or reverse. So be mindful of that. I think we could install the ball and the spring from the top once we put it back together. So we'll just keep these separate.
Safe.
Now we have 2 gears. You wanna grab them real quick?
Yes.
That we're gonna be replacing here. The first one is this large gear. It's like a ring gear. I don't know how it goes. I guess it goes like this. So we're gonna pull that out and use the bolts that are here and connect this gear to there. Then we have a smaller gear, which I think goes right under this ball bearing here. And these are the high-speed gears. So we're gonna replace these 2 gears.
You can see the difference. We'll show you better shots then.
Yeah. So we'll get to work. We've got to start pulling these out. So we have a little puller we're gonna use to remove this gear first, I think.
Yep.
And then we're gonna remove the big gear.
Let's do it.
It's coming right up, dude.
Rick, you the man. That saved us hours. That's it. That was pretty easy.
All right, so you saw what we did there. We used the little puller that was actually ground out at the bottom. Where is that thing? Let me show them. So this is the tool that Rick let us borrow. This is just a standard I think a 2-arm puller. And what he did was he ground down the bottom of it a little bit so it had enough room to slide underneath the little gear. And we used this to pull that gear out. Then we unbolted the big gear from the, I don't know what this thing is called, but it's right here. We unbolted it from there and came right out. So now what we have to do is remove the bearing from that gear somehow. There it is. Here's the gear. This is what we pulled out. Right.
That's the bearing that we have to take off.
I don't know the technical words for this piece here, but this is what you're removing this gear from. It's held on by 6 bolts. The impact took them right off, no problem at all. And there's that bearing that we have to remove and then keep going. Then we install the new gears, do everything in reverse. Oh, hello. Joe's moving pretty quick here. There it is. Assembly lube, or is it got enough oil on it?
Dude, it's so oily. It goes right on. Super easy. It's not down the hole right yet, but...
All right, guys, we are doing awesome here. We're about to put this thing back together. Joe's about to slam these bolts down and finalize the install of the high-speed gears here. Then we're gonna start to put everything back together. I'm super excited, man. This is so far so good. I know we always jinx ourselves with this stuff, but no problems. I think you guys at home, if you want to do this job and you have the tools to do it, I think
Definitely
it's
helps
doable.
with 2 people.
Yeah, this is definitely a 2-person job also. I guess you could do it 1, definitely easier with 2, especially when you're moving the motor and everything out of the golf cart. But we're about to put this back together now. We have the gasket sealer. We're gonna show you that in a second. It's a Permatex gear oil gasket sealer. It's a green package. That's what we're gonna use to seal the case up. But first we have to clean it. We're gonna take maybe some mineral spirits or something and just kind of make sure that there's no old gasket residue on this case, so we get a really good seal and we know it's not going to leak. Yeah.
Up a little bit.
Yep. So why don't you go ahead there, Joe? Make those as tight as possible, and we're ready, man. We're back together now.
That's it. Squishy, squishy.
Let that dry.
Make sure that shifts when I get it together.
Spring. Bolt. Well, that's it, guys. The rear end is back together. We're gonna let this this seal set up for a night and finish tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's good for a day. Pretty good. But check this out. The shifter linkage thingy is working, and it looks good, man. Ready to get reconnected to the motor and go back in. But while we're waiting, I'm gonna clean up some of this stuff inside the seat of this golf cart, and we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Put this back together, make sure it works.
Yeah, man.
So that's a gear.
What's up, guys? Mike here from Kart Life TV. You know, the guys stupid enough to drive their golf cart 225 miles all the way to Key West. I want to just take a second to invite you to check out our online store at www.lowspeedliving.com. We got lots of really cool hats, shirts, and accessories for your golf cart lifestyle. Don't forget to support your boys. All right, now back to the show. All right, guys, welcome back. It is day 2 of our high-speed gear install. I hope you enjoyed the first part. We're back in the garage here, and it is time to reassemble the golf cart. Last night we sealed up the rear end after we put the gears in. You saw that in the video. Today we're going to fill it with gear oil. We're going to use the Valvoline full synthetic 7540, some nice thick stuff, because we are going to be taking this thing on some long distance rides, and we want to make sure we have as much lubrication in our gears as possible. It holds 67 ounces of fluid, so we're going to make sure we get that in. We have this special handy dandy funnel here. It has a like a valve, so you could actually fill it up and measure, and then this tube will hopefully go right into the gear case, and the oil will go in, and we'll be happy people.
Yeah, man.
All right, so it's time to put the oil in the rear differential here. There's a fill spot here, one of the bolts that we took out to drain the oil. The bottom one is closed, so the oil doesn't leak out when we put it in. This holds, what did we say? 67 ounces. We'll put that on the screen. 67 ounces of gear oil goes in. This funnel is great because it has measuring on the side and the tube with the valve
on off.
So you could really like just, you know, make sure you get your measurement right and then open the valve and the oil will go in, hopefully. That's the theory at least. So I'm gonna put
that's the plan.
I'm gonna put about 30 ounces in right now. Okay.
Tilted my way. It's actually 32.
And we're going to open this valve. There it goes.
Oh, God. That would have been really bad.
And it is slowly going in there. See it going, Joe?
Yeah.
It's going in. So this
Very
stuff is thick. It is not
very
a
slowly.
it is not a it is not a fast process, but this is probably the cleanest and easiest way to do it. All right, getting close to the bottom there. Another ounce or so. All right. Oh, there it goes, dude. Look at that. All right, so we're gonna fill up another 32. This is gonna put us to 64. And then we'll give it another 3, approximately. I don't think, you know, an extra ounce here or there in either direction is gonna make a difference, but we're gonna be as close as we can to 67 ounces.
It's gonna be perfect.
All right, the last 3. I mean, we'll bring it to the
4.
That's 4, so we'll bring it just under the 4 line. actually. It's at the full line. 68 ounces. That's awesome. The oil that came out was great.
Yeah, the oil
Wasn't bad at all.
No.
All right, now it's time to reattach the differential to the motor assembly. There's 2 brackets on the motor. The differential slides in between it. Just line the bolts up, tighten everything down. Don't forget this bracket. It goes on the driver's side. The throttle linkage attaches to this bracket right here. 2 bolts hold this in. This is the hardest bolt in the entire project, really. So just take your time with this and you should be fine.
Yeah, man. No,
Right.
no washers on top, washers on the bottom.
Bottom bolts have washers. Top bolts don't have washers.
In case you forget.
8 bolts total, 4 on each side.
All right,
Slide it in.
let's do it.
All right, so there we go. There's Joe. Hey, so we got 7 of these 8 bolts done. Joe's working on that really tough one.
The one that takes forever.
It's not that it's like a hard bolt to undo or anything. It's just in a weird spot. Something that would probably make it easier, and probably easier all around, is removing the muffler. You just got to move that plastic air shield that goes over the motor and the 2 bolts that hold the muffler on. We didn't do that, but I would tell you it would also make it easier getting the motor in and out of the golf cart also, right?
Yeah.
And the axle off the motor, because the little muffler tip kind of doesn't clear there, but no problem. I think we got it all tight, and we're ready to roll this bad boy back underneath. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's it.
That's it.
Axle's back on, rear end back to the motor. We gotta put the clutch on.
Gotta put the clutch on. All right, let's do that. It'll take 2 seconds. All right, guys, so the motor is back in the club car, and it wasn't so bad. We just didn't know how to do it. That was the first time, but we managed, and it's in, so check it out. What we got to do now is just line up the lift blocks on the leaf springs and reattach the shackles, the brake cables, and the shocks in the back, and then we'll be completely tightened up, and the motor won't be moving. Then we can start reattaching everything else.
Yeah, we want to get the back axle taken care of first so this thing don't fall and kill somebody.
And then we could roll it back into the middle of the garage so we're not up against the wall anymore.
Yeah. Everything else is pretty simple. Snap them back together.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
Let me get
It'd be
some.
nice if my glasses weren't fogged up.
All right, Joe's just about done with the driver's side. Now remember, this might be a different process for you in the back, depending whether you have a lift kit or not, or which lift kit you have. So once you're secured here, we're gonna move on and start reconnecting the linkages and all of the power on the back side of the motor. All right, I know I keep saying all right, but it is time to rehook up all of the components in the back of the motor. We're gonna do the shifter linkage, we're gonna do the shifter linkage harness, and then the high-speed cable, as well as the power cords for the starter generator. Once we have all that hooked up, we're gonna move back to the front of the motor. First, we're gonna start with the shifter linkage.
And remember, we marked that, so it should go back to where it was. I need the high speed while I'm here.
Now we're gonna do the high-speed throttle cable, just like we did the other day. It runs through here, through this little clip. The last thing we're gonna do back here is hook up the power wires for the starter generator. Don't forget the little yellow wire that has the bullet connector. Probably do that one first, get it out of the way. Then the yellow wire that hooks up to the mounting bolt there. And then the power cables.
No batteries.
All right, so we're done with the back of the motor. Everything's connected there. Now we're gonna work on the front of the motor and reconnect everything before we start putting the components back in under the seat. First thing we're gonna do is reconnect the two ground wires. They're the black and white plugs on the battery side. Then we're gonna connect the main harness to the computer. And then I think it's pretty much home free, Joe. What do you think?
Yeah.
Anything else to connect here?
No, I don't think so.
That's it. All right, and before we do the gas tank, we're going to reattach the air tube to the intake. All right, so one more thing before we put the gas tank in. We realized we never changed the air filter in this part. We have one here, so we're gonna do that real quick too. Undo the yellow tab, spin it to the left, and remove the cap. Pull out the old filter and put the new one in. All right, now it's time to reinstall the fuel tank. Just lower it in position carefully. Remember, if there's fuel in it, you definitely want to be careful handling it. Get it into place. There is a plastic tube that sits behind it. That is basically just a safety guard for when you have to run a tool down to reach the bolt that removes the tub from the frame. Now we're going to connect the fuel line, the fuel sender, and the breather. Now we're going to install the carbon filter and the brace. The carbon filter has 2 barbs on it, a large one and a small one. The small one is for the yellow hose that goes down to the motor. The large one is for the breather valve that goes to the fuel tank. Attach those and then reattach the carbon filter and the bracket to the frame. We're doing good.
Yep, almost done. Just gotta put the battery back in.
Last thing we have to do, install the battery. And then I guess we could
like all the hot rod shows, it's gonna start right up.
Hopefully, that's the idea. But before we do that, I just want to show everyone what we did last night while Joe was sound asleep sucking his thumb. Mike was in here cleaning, and I actually removed the old solenoid and reinstalled a new one. And that's actual club car part.
He did that because I did that 4 times thinking that was what was the problem with the cart the first time.
Yeah. We also found a cracked battery connector, and I added a little bit of heat shrink to the battery cable just to kind of clean things up a little bit. But it's looking really good under here.
It is.
All right, let's get that battery back in and see if it starts.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Go. All right, guys, that wraps up the install of our high-speed gears in this club car tempo with the Subaru EX40 motor, and it wasn't that bad, dude. I think, what, 4 hours?
Yeah, 4 hours.
4 hours total, over
Not
2
bad
days,
at all.
and we could have done it in one day. We just, started after work and wanted to make sure that the seal on the rear end was nice and dry before we put fluid in it.
No leaks, no nothing.
Yeah, we're good. You can do this job at home. Just make sure you have a friend with you or someone else to help. It doesn't necessarily have to be a friend. You can hate the person as long as they want to help you. Basic tools, socket set, wrenches, the typical garage tools. We didn't use anything special this time.
The only thing we used was the puller for the gear.
The puller for the gear. You can pick that up at like Harbor Freight for like
Freight.
$6 probably.
Yeah, auto parts store, whatever, they're cheap.
The only thing left to do, Joe, since you did all the work, is I think we have to test it, man. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Make sure it's in maintenance mode, so you should be able to hit the key and see if the motor starts up. I hear the
That's
fuel
a good
pump.
sign.
Yep, let's go. And that's it.
Nice.
Yes. That's it. That's our first time doing high-speed gears. I want to give a shout out to Rick Lanier. Thanks again for helping us out, buddy. You were a big help.
Big time.
Yeah, just follow the instructions. You guys can do it too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he definitely cut our time down because we didn't have to guess on a lot of the stuff that he told us what to do. So, a lot of secrets he gave us.
If you like these videos, there's a lot more coming. So make sure you subscribe to Kart Life TV. And if you want to help support your guys, remember, lowspeedliving.com. We got a lot of really cool t-shirts and hats, things like that. And Halloween's coming up. And what better way to celebrate Halloween in your golf cart parade than with the Kart Life Skull t-shirt?
It's my favorite one.
That's it. It's available fully in stock. Check it out, lowspeedliving.com. And we'll see you soon.
Peace.